Hi all, welcome back to Sunshine City Show. Max, your host. Well, some of you will remember the Joesph Greg Hallett and the Charlie Ward thing that's been going on for a while. They're promoting Joesph Greg Hallett as the King of England and the Antichrist with the letter E from Sesame Street, because puts the E in the anti to make it the true Christ. And then you look it up and it actually means Antichrist. Well, according to David Mahoney, Charlie Ward came out and confessed. David Mahoney came out and confessed, but then he got angry and bitter and twisted to all the vloggers that called them out. And that's good news for everybody who's vlogging. Good news that the scam has been revealed, that Greg was not the Antichrist. Greg is not the true King of England, even though the emblem was off the gate. He wanted to measure it up and wanted to get David Mahoney to come and measure it, and he'll get someone to do it for him. So David Mahoney was the film producer that was going to meet up with Greg and do a film on him of how he was the King John III. And one thing I've noticed with David, he has never mentioned Jesus ever. He talks about the bitterness. He wants to represent a healing thing now called the first light. He's never mentioned Jesus, and he needs to embrace Jesus and be born again, because I think he's a Freemason. He talks about a secret society called the Saxons Covert Gods, who ordered him to fulfill revelations and appoint Greg, or appoint somebody, and there were 5 nominations. And Greg was one of them, where the prophecies lined up. And it was more about the Christ, not about the King of England. But then they would try and promote him for the King of England as well, to bring him as legitimate Antichrist. Well, we know with Charlie Ward, Greg would come on and they would all go, "All hail King Greg!" All hail King John III! And there'd be a bit of music playing. Well, David Mahoney wasn't in that, at least. David Mahoney, though, he was the guy who was sent to the cave, and he'd go out there and he said, "Let's get the boys." Greg would say, "Let's get the boys, and I've got this cave to have a bit of a look-see." And this is in Portugal, so they were doing their... Well, Portugal is also where the Freemasons had broken off from the rest of the Freemasons. Now, why this is important is the Freemasons see themselves as related to the Templars, and the Templars represented Christ and the search for the Grail, right? Now, Greg mentioned the search for the Grail, and he mentioned an order, and he mentioned Templars. Well, I don't know if he mentioned Templars too much, but he mentioned sleeping on a sword and going through these rituals. And the Portugal Freemasons, they passed the Grand Master from father to son, and that's why the Masons broke off from them, didn't want to have anything more to do with them. So the rest of the world, Freemasons have got nothing to do with this. This is the own. So I don't know who secret covert gods are. I haven't even bothered to Google it. I just heard it from word of mouth because David Mahoney mumbled it. And so I don't know for sure if that's what he said. He just mumbled who the secret society was. And so he's got up just recently, the next day. So in the last 2 days, he's got up again, and he's very bitter and twisted. And he said he's angry at the haters on YouTube who called him out, called Charlie Ward out. Now, I was going to leave it at just, I usually do one vlog a month on this thing. But, they're calling it out, and so we have to come on board because they're calling people out. They're saying they're being anti-Christian, they're not giving to charities, they're bitter and twisted. And for sure, my videos are about truth and exposing the lies of the world. Kind of what Charlie Ward does, but Charlie Ward promoted the Antichrist while he was doing it. And you can't do that. You can't mix good with evil, because your mind won't be quite there. You can't tunnel the wisdom from God. Now, David Mahoney says he is now going to represent healing. He's representing a company called First Light, and he's going to be a healer, and he's going to teach other people to be healers. He doesn't look like a healer. Healer is usually not a roughneck guy that says bugger off, because that's what he kind of says. If he doesn't like you, bugger off. So I don't see how he can be a healer. And first light often represents the devil, Lucifer. It's often represented. You often hear it from guys on DMT. I saw the first light, and they saw the devil, and it's part of the problem because the devil likes to see himself as God. And it's one thing you can do is you're seeing these kind of visions. Best thing to do is talk to Jesus Christ while you're seeing these visions, because Jesus Christ, you cannot see God, you cannot see the first light or anything without Jesus. You cannot go to heaven. So that's one thing you can do. I know a lot of the religions just believe in God, and that's great. But, when you're born in the book of life, sometimes you need to get back into the book of life because you've done something wrong, taken DMT, drugs or something, and you need to get back in. You need to get through Jesus, because what the Jews had to do is they had to sacrifice animals. And, people have done bad things, and it's going to be hard to change this sin. And so this is why we have to do damage control and come out and represent truth. And my past is not the best, and Jesus Christ is the answer. Turning to God, reading the Bible for yourself. Someone said, can I be this, can I be that with God, can I be in Scientology? Well, I don't care what you're in, if you're a Catholic or anything else. All I can say is read the Bible and believe it. Take it word literally, except for the word unicorn in the Bible. They changed that from wild ox to unicorn. And, besides that, King James is a good Bible, good news, relatively good Bible too. So you can get some good Bibles out there that are relatively cheap, revised version or something like that. And so we have this Gregory Hallett guy. He's been causing a lot of stress. Has not accepted. What he needs to do is say, sorry for what I've done. I'm really, really sorry. At least Charlie Ward did that. Charlie Ward said he was sorry. And I put out a video on him because he also lied again, Charlie Ward, because he said there was another guy that was going up and related to royalty, and they used Greg instead because the prophecies lined up. So this secret society had 5 contenders, and Greg was the best of them. It doesn't make sense why they even have to fulfill scripture. Why can't they let just God fulfill scripture himself? You don't have to put people up. We don't have to end the world. And you're going to represent a healer, and you can't represent God as a healer. There's two camps, God and the devil. And you're representing an antichrist, and you're doing healing. You can't do that. And so I hope your 14,000 followers, David Mahoney, know that you're not representing God when you're doing healing, because you need to heal with the power of God. And anyone has the power to heal, anyone, but it's prayer and focusing and changing your life. And you can do anything. A lot of us don't have that faith to go out there and heal someone of their sickness. And a lot of this time, it's the food you eat is the only thing that you need to do and change. Change how you eat food. And that doesn't take a healer to do that. And going to the gym, stop eating sugar, that kind of thing. These are the kind of things you can do to heal your body and have a cleansing of your body of stop going to the doctor, stop taking antibiotics, get up a mixer and put the celery through the mixer and eat the greens straight out of the mixer. And then you look younger and you look healthier. And bring God and Jesus into your life in these end times. Because these guys are trying to set up revelations. And we're in end times. And it says in end times that there will be a war with the saints, which I think is America, but I can't tell you for sure. I think it's possibly the end of 2022, which is beginning of 2023's Year of the Dragon. which is a Chinese symbol, China fighting USA, which is a terrible thing to happen in the world. But the tensions that are happening between those two countries, you've got global cities and democratically elected countries, that kind of thing. You've got all this stuff happening within democratically elected countries. You've got lockdowns. What happened to me today? I was in a store, I went in the wrong way out. And they said, go around the other way, sir. There's no virus, guys. I mean, we're in New Zealand. The virus is pretty much contained. And I said to them, guys, it's only 0.03% chance of dying. I should have said, and I didn't, the average age of 84, but I would have had to stand around. And I bought something, but they can't treat me as a customer. They have to treat me like a prison camp when I'm buying something. When we go shopping, we go to enjoy ourselves when we're shopping. That's why we shop. We shop to enjoy ourselves. Then I see some other people, husband and wife, mid-30s, getting up there, taking pictures on the QR code outside the shop. You know what I said to them? I said, guys, you guys are crazy. You want to be tracked. You're crazy. Of course, they think this virus can be tracked and they're helping the country. The virus is an excuse to put up QR codes at a 0.03% chance of dying and an average age of 84. What can we do? We live in a society of sheep. And that's what will happen, is there will be the sheep that take the vaccine, which looks like the mark of the beast. We can't be sure, but it looks like it. Why would they be pushing it? Why would they be doing lockdowns? Besides setting up global cities as a possibility. We need to come out. This is what vlogging and YouTube's all about. It's about sharing the information. And you need to be careful who you follow. If they're going to represent an antichrist, it's the wrong kind of light. Then they're going to do healing after that with Lucifer, first light, healing, and they're representing an antichrist. What kind of healing do you think you're going to get? These are Freemasons. I mean, that's the Freemason movement, but it's probably got a different name. Maybe they are the Saxon covert gods, the secret society within the Masons that broke off. But why they have to set up a king, and it doesn't look like the royal family even gave a toss about it. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you for subbing to my channel. Catch you.